Morn, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Laska Hurley. Caught me unawares there. I would like to welcome Deputy Costello, as you've told me, never met her before now, to the House. I too would like to congratulate you on your appointment as MEP last year, and I know the long and distinguished career that you've had prior to that, as first of all as a Dublin City Councillor, as somebody who's campaigned long and hard for many rights for the people of Dublin over the last 20 plus years, as probably one of the most effective Lord Mayors that we have had. And I'm delighted that to hear today that you've recently been appointed as Rapporteur on the European Parliament for the draft EU regulation proposed by the European Commission to establish this 2.5 billion fund for European aid for the most deprived, or the FEED fund as you've called it, which will provide food and essential goods to deprived people, the homeless and children over the 2014 to 20 period. Again, I know that you've said that this will take over from the food distribution programme that's in place at the moment, but I would appreciate if you would just elaborate perhaps on the progress of this important initiative to date, just a little bit more, and when we can expect its definitive adoption by the EU, and if you believe, if you could give us to 2014, I believe it's to be come into effect, but that's a full 12 months. If you could give us a little bit more specific details on when exactly it's expected to be implemented. The whole purpose of the European Union, we know, is to promote peace, its values and the well-being of its people. And in agreeing the EU 2020 strategy in 2010, EU member state governments specifically set themselves the task of reducing the numbers of poverty or at risk of poverty by at least 20 million, as you've said there, by 2020. The fund is very welcome in that it will replace the current food distribution programme, and I would welcome your views also on how the fund will continue to achieve this task of reducing poverty and how effective it will be. Can I ask you also to outline your immediate tasks as Rapporteur over the coming months and how important you believe engaging with the NGOs will be? Specifically those who work with and on behalf of children or people living in poverty, the homeless, children, and indeed Minister Burton, the important role that she will play as the incoming chair of the Social Affairs Council. I read lately somewhere that you held a public information seminar in Dublin recently for the Irish NGOs interested in the new fund, which I think is very good, because I think you need to get to the core, to the heart of it, to the people who are going to be involved, and I think that's essential for anything to be successful, is that you do communicate. But I'd just like to ask, how effective you found that seminar, and how successful that you feel this was. I mean, we know that in Ireland alone, over 300,000 people were suffering from severe material deprivation in 2010, which is very, very hard. And I wonder if you could outline how Ireland, I mean, I know you talked there about it's a European thing, but if you could maybe just elaborate on specifically how Ireland can expect and how we can expect to gain from this fund. How difficult do you think it will be now to meet the imposed deadlines? You've referred briefly there to the opposition that has been held by some of the countries. I mean, I would personally agree that the measures like this fund are needed more than ever now, as more and more people are slipping into the poverty trap as a result of the present economic crisis. I will be very, very brief. Thank you. And I agree with Commissioner Andor on his recent words when he said that the fund is an expression of Europe's solidarity with its most vulnerable citizens and provide them with relief and hope for a better future. I wish you continued success in working with all sides to ensure the success of this ambitious new EU initiative. I realise I might be slightly biased, but I've no doubt that you are indeed the right woman for the job. Briefly, I would just like to mention the proposed youth guarantee. This is something that I know totally appreciate how hard you have worked. As you said yourself, it is one of the things that you've spoken most on since your appointment to the European Parliament. The worrying figures reported yesterday of 27.7% of people under 25 being unemployed is extremely worrying. And again, I know you've referred to how youth unemployment can affect the young, both in terms of the prospects when you're long-term unemployed and trying to get employment, and also from the health point of view. Particularly, I would worry about the mental health point of view of being unemployed for such a long time. As a mother myself of 3 children in third-level education, I certainly would welcome the youth guarantee and the guarantee that we will have some form of apprenticeship or further education or an offer of a job within 4 months. I think this is vital to ensure that they all have, and that the youth guarantee is the best way to tackle employment. Could you elaborate? And I like the way that it's going to be person-centred, that it will be, rather than offering a course that's just out there. But so I better leave it at that, Laska Kirlick. So thank you very much.